Good morning, Gladiators. Today is Tuesday, September 8th. I hope you had a good 3-day weekend. We'll be going over what we're doing for today. In the first half of class, I'd like for you to open up the bell work activity or assignment in Schoology. It is titled Bell Work 11 Plot Assignment. There will be a document for you to open and complete. Please list the elements of plot using the story 11 that we read on Friday. There will be an example or the story will be placed in Schoology for you to reference. Please describe in 2 to 3 sentences the exposition of the story, the setting, and the characters. What event happened in the rising action? What was the conflict? In a few sentences, please describe the inciting incident that led to the climax. What was the climax? What event occurred after the climax in the falling action? And finally, how was the story ending the resolution of the story? Then we'll be reading Freak the Mighty, Chapter 4 together as a class with the audio, or you may read silently for 15 minutes.
So the second part of our class is focused on email etiquette. Etiquette is just a set of rules that you follow, right? So specifically, we're talking about student-to-teacher communication. This is how you can communicate effectively and politely with your teacher. So there's a video that I would like you to go click on. So if you go into your Schoology folder and you go to the daily agenda slides that your teacher posts there, they would look like this. If you click on the daily agenda slides, you should be able to see this exact same presentation. And so take a minute. It's only 2 minutes long, actually. So take 2 minutes and go watch this video. Come right back. Now that you've watched the video, we're going to review some of the tips we just learned. So number 1 is use a salutation. Use dear or hello and then your teacher's name. Salutations must be capitalized and end with a comma. For example, dear Mrs. Olvera, we've got the capital D right here, and we've got a comma after Mrs. Olvera. The second tip, use a specific subject line. Tell exactly what your email is about in the subject line. Consider including the class and the period. For example, periods 1 to 2, plot diagram, quiz grade. If that's what I'm emailing my teacher about, I want them to know specifically in this subject line that that's what it's about. And the period really helps your, if you put periods 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, that helps your teachers because we have a lot of different students in different classes. And so we can answer your question more quickly if you kind of narrow it down for us. The third thing, keep it to the point. Tell exactly what you need in the body of the email. That's the main section of the email. Be polite and succinct. That means kind of short and sweet and to the point, right? For example, I would like to request 1 extra day to complete my project. Your teacher may say yes or no to that, but at least you asked politely and you were very direct about what you needed. The fourth thing, keep it professional. So I know you're students, you're not professionals, but there's still a certain degree of respect and professional courtesy that you want to have in your email to your teacher. So don't use all caps like you're yelling, don't use emojis, don't use slang, don't use text speak if you can help it. For example, instead of can't make it to class today because I'm sick, you can just write it out. I won't be in class today because I'm sick. The fifth tip, closing. Sign and proofread after your closing. So your closing should be capitalized and it should end with a comma. Under the closing, sign your full name and reread your email for errors before sending. For example, sincerely, comma, Jennifer Jones, or whatever your name may be, right? It's capitalized, the S in sincerely. It's got a comma after sincerely, and then they've signed their name underneath it. And hopefully they've proofread it for any spelling or punctuation errors. Not to say that there can't be any mistakes ever in your emails, but hopefully not something that you could have caught before you sent it. And so there is one more discussion that is in our Schoology, and it is called Importance of Email Etiquette. So if you go back into your Tuesday folder, there's the Importance of Email Etiquette right here. And the directions say, using at least 2 sentences, tell why email etiquette is important when communicating with your teacher. And we have a little reminder here. Remember, the format and tone of your email says a lot about you as a student. So why do you think, give me 2 sentences telling me why you think that email etiquette is important. Why are those tips and tricks that we just went over, how could they make a difference in the way that your email is received from your teacher or by your teacher? And what does it say about you if you have good email etiquette? Those all could be things that you include in your answer. The last thing you're going to do today is you're going to complete an exit ticket. It's called Email Etiquette Exit Ticket. It's in the same folder that we were just in. So if I go back to Tuesday, I have the assignment for an email etiquette exit ticket. So I clicked into the email etiquette exit ticket. The first question asked me to please choose what does not define a proper salutation. So I'm going to choose my answer. And then I will, let me put this up here. And then I will go to my next question. The second question, choose all that apply to a proper closing. Hint, there are 2 correct answers. So you'll put a check in 2 of these boxes, whichever 2 apply to a proper closing. And the third question, it says all caps and emojis are acceptable in a professional email. Is that true or false? You're going to pick which one. And then you'll be able to go down here and review your answers. Remember, you can revisit your notes if you need to. Hopefully this is something that is pretty easy for you to answer after going over those different tips. If you need to go back to your notes, remember to open the daily agenda slides for Tuesday. That is all for today, Gladiators. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend and a good break from school, and we will see you soon.